Hello comrades, it is 7th of May and firstly I would like to remind you that in 2 days we will celebrate the Victory's Day, Dzień Pobiedy nad fascismem, the really communists, really anti-fascists, really anti-imperialists celebrate only 9 of May. So this video it will be answer for the question of the comrade from Poland, big question which was published in the video about the tanks which Poland gave to Ukraine. So firstly I will read the question. It is comrade Iron Maiden. Hi Michał, a new viewer here. Hi comrade. I discovered your channel today through the Wojna Idei channel. Wojna Idei, it is some right-wing channel which 3 years ago I make a debate with this guy. It is very popular in Polish language. It is more than 300,000 views of our discussion about communism. It looks like I am a kinda late for the show because you closed your Polish channel recently. It's good that at least you kept the English one for now. I would like to say that yesterday I recorded a very long video in Polish language, so you are late, comrade, because I will not continue this work which I make before. I will not record video every day because more than 4 years I recorded video every year, every day new video. So it is finished, but now I think I will record Polish something in Polish 2 times in month. One it will be my speech, one it will be conversation with somebody. So you are late, but I come back. I would like to say that it's good to know that there are actually some sane Poles who don't subscribe to the overwhelming media propaganda about the current events, Ukrainian-Russian conflict, and also in a more general context realize that capitalism is not the answer in terms of economic solution. It will be very long comment, but I will read all. My question to you is, are there any political parties which still support socialist or Marxist ideas, or are at least clearly anti-imperialist? I have this feeling that I have been politically homeless my entire life, and especially today I don't see any left-wing parties rising up and trying to differentiate themselves with clear anti-establishment, anti-imperialist, truly socialist messaging. For Christ's sake, I am not a believer in Christ. For Christ's sake, everyone from left to right tells me to stand with Ukraine, the guys who worship Bandera and who incorporated Nazis into their military and government. I am really in such a tiny minority that there are actually no political party to represent me. Also, are there any Polish YouTube channels similar to yours? Maybe not necessarily full-on Marxist socialist, but at least anti-imperialist. I mean, I am mostly following US channels such as the Grey Zone, Breakthrough News, Richard Medhurst, Caleb Maupin, Jason Hinkle, or Jimmy Dore, and recently the Duran. And that's because it seems like we don't have Polish creators who are brave enough to promote these ideas. Is that really the case, or do I just have difficulty to finding them? I sometimes like to listen to this kind of commentary from people who are based here, to listen to analyze of the current events through the local lens, and to also hear about ideas and solutions for our country specifically and not the US. I would appreciate some guidance in that respect. Anyway, I hope you get better soon. Thanks for your bravery, and I hope you will be soon able to shoot videos in Polish again. Take care. So it is the phone of my wife. I will give back this phone and I will answer. Okay, I am coming back, so now it's time to answer the question. So there is a lot of questions, so maybe first question which I would like to answer, it is the question, is there exist political force in Poland which is truly anti-imperialist? So it is the question how we define the imperialism. We need to define the imperialism and what is imperialism, and it is how we understand what is anti-imperialism. Because today, when you are listening the bourgeois media, we can find the situation that all the Polish political forces are anti-imperialist, especially the biggest anti-imperialist hero in the Western world is the Joe Biden! Joe Biden and Emmanuel Macron and Ursula von der Leyen, all these guys from the Western world, they are very they are anti-imperialist. They say, we are against imperialist aggression towards Ukraine. We are against imperialist dictator Putin. So we are against Russia. Russia is make imperialist wars towards Ukraine. So we are opposing Russia. So we are anti-imperialist. So in this definition, exist the leftist forces who support this so-called anti-imperialist against Russia? Yes, there exist peoples like this. I can say that most of the people who are politically active in Poland, you know this, so they are anti-imperialist. But of course, I am not agree with this definition of imperialism. I am not. For me, imperialism it is the question of the economic situation. It is the Lenin analysis of the evolution of the capitalism state, and to create it's the question of the financial capitalist who are very strong, and to export the financial capitalism, use the state to make the military expansion. So from this perspective, Russia, maybe it is big country, maybe it is country with strong army, but it is not country which have a strong financial institution. The finance of Russia there are not such thing like a big multinational corporation from Russia which dominate the world. There are not such things like Russian banks which dominate the world. The finance market in the world are dominated by the Western countries, from USA, from Great Britain and other countries of the European Union. And for me, imperialism, it is this. It is if you want to understand what is imperialism, it is this organization unified in the NATO, which is of course ruled by the USA, but also in this NATO there are another imperialistic force, traditionally imperialistic Western European countries. So to define yourself to be anti-imperialist, you need to be against NATO. From the Polish perspective, it's mean to be against NATO, to be against the participation Poland in NATO. So it is something which we can do, which we can promote the idea that Poland will not longer be member of the NATO. In the same time, when Zelensky he promote idea that Ukraine needs to be member of NATO, the real anti-imperialist force in Russia needs to promote idea we don't want to participate in NATO. So it is first thing. Second thing, the Poland is not independent country which independently decided we would like to be a member of a NATO. From my perspective, in my definition, Poland is a Western colony, so it is not the Polish people who decided we want to be a member of the NATO. Poland, the political elites of Poland, similarly to the political elites in other Eastern European countries, it is the puppets of the imperialist world. You can see, for example, now the president of Moldova, Maria Sandu. So she studied in Washington, and now she is the president of Moldova, and she she represents American interest in Moldova, and they are pushing the Ukrainians to destroy this Transnistria region. So the all political force in Polish parliament from 30 years, all these parties are corrupted, and they are listening the orders from the US embassy in Poland. So the Polish elites are corrupted. They are decided that Poland needs to be a member of NATO, and also they decided that Poland needs to be occupied by the American force. Since 2016 in Poland land we have thousands of American soldiers, and in the last months we have also the British soldiers, American soldiers, French soldiers, and I don't know how many NATO soldiers now in the Poland. In the south, all this region in the southeast of Poland now is controlled by the NATO. It's the place where they're sending weapons from all over the world, especially from the United States, and the American are ruling there in the Podkarpacie region and stuff like this. So to be an anti-imperialist in Poland, you need to be against the occupation Poland by the American soldiers and against NATO. So the question is there are some political forces which are agree in this subject with me? Yes. Yes and not. Yes and not. Why? Because we have two level of answering this question. First level is there are people who are agree with me with this analysis? Yes, there are the people who are agree with me in this analysis. Especially this is the member of the party which I created, but I am not longer member of this party. It is the Polish Workers' Party. They are against NATO, but it's not only these people. I think that the hundreds of people who are listening my Polish language channel, they are agree with me in this base that the political our program to the future for Poland, it needs to be the firstly independent Poland against the Western Bloc. So in the level of the analysis, yes, I think that they are some people who are agree with me. But unfortunately, there are different level also. It's one thing what you are talking, and second thing, no, I can say that there are three levels. First level is what you are thinking. And what you are thinking, and I think that there are a lot of people who are agree with me. They are agree with me, but they are most of them are silent. They can wrote some commentary in the internet. Very often it is the commentary, anonymous commentary. They are not saying who they are. They are not showing their faces and stuff like this. But I know that there are people who are agree with me. So people like this exist. Second level is there are people who can openly, like me, said it publicly. You wrote that I am brave, that I am make analysis in Poland. Yes, I am brave, but I am not living in Poland, so I can't judge people who are living in Poland. Poland now is going toward to the totalitarian society where all the people who are not agree to be that Poland have to be a member of NATO, they can be go to prison. They can have a problem. They are accused that they are Russian spy, Putin spy, stuff like this. So it's very dangerous. It is very dangerous in Poland to be against NATO. So I understand the people who are don't want publicly make all this stuff which I am making here, but it's not changing that now we don't have this political voice. It was always a problem, especially it started, I think, in the time when the Mateusz Piskorski wanted to create his political party Zmiana. He created this party in 2014, I suppose, and in 2016, 1 month before the big summit of NATO in Warsaw, he was arrested. He was arrested because he wanted to organize the demonstration against NATO in Warsaw, and it is why he was arrested and he was in prison 3 years. 3 years. You can find the interview with Mateusz Piskorski in this channel in English language. Also, you can find a lot of my discussion with Mateusz Piskorski in the Odrodzenie Komunizmu in Polish language. So you see, he was an example for the other leftists. If you are really against NATO, if you want to organize the political force against NATO, we will destroy your life. We will destroy your party. We will destroy your family. We will arrest you. You will be in prison 3 years. And after these 3 years, because he was released in 2019, still his case it's not finished. It's not finished. It's already 6 years. 6 years that he can't work like he worked before. Before he traveled a lot. He participated in the conference in Russia, in China, in Iran, in other countries. He participating in the referendum like the observer. Now it's finished. Now he needs to stay in Poland. So he was destroyed, and everybody in Poland understand this lesson, and everybody understand this example. So it is one thing what you are thinking, and it is second thing what you are talking publicly. So when you are saying that it is complicated for you to finding another Polish medias which are anti-imperialist like me, yes, it is difficult to find. There are some places where you can find, but this is they are not want to build something big, something which is good known. But there is a third level of being anti-imperialist, and I think that this third level is the most important. The most important, but it is first is what you are thinking, second what you are talking, but the third political level is what you are trying to do publicly in the street. The braveness of the comrades of the Mateusz Piskorski was that they tried to organize the demonstration against the military occupation, US military occupation of Poland. So they organized some small demonstration. They wanted to organize the demonstration in Warsaw in the time of NATO. So it is a question if there are some political forces which can independently organize the political activity in the street in real situation which is anti-imperialist. And my sad analysis is that no, there is not such political force. 1 week ago there was a first May demonstration in Poland, and in this first demonstration in Poland we can find some people which are in this question, which they are thinking like me, but because this demonstration was organized by the other leftists, which are the collaborators of NATO, we can't say that it was a demonstration, anti-imperialist demonstration, because the question is that if you are truly anti-imperialist, you want to, you are politically independent. If you organize the demonstration in the street, you try to organize only with people who are thinking like you. But in this first May demonstration, most of this, the most famous guy like Piotr Ikonowicz, in this question, he support the Western imperialism. And he was the main speaker in the first May demonstration. So it's weak. For me, it is something. I understand that. Okay, maybe first May demonstration. It is a day where the leftists have to be united. So maybe it is not a big problem that in first May demonstration the anti-imperialists and pro-imperialists they are demonstrated in the same place. But only in exception when these anti-imperialist forces try to organize something against the Western imperialism in another day. So if, for example, the Polish Workers' Party, maybe, I don't know, Communist Party of Poland and other forces, tomorrow, on day after tomorrow, they will organize something which is 100% anti-imperialist, I can say, yes, there exists such force like anti-imperialist in Poland. But I didn't heard about activity like this. But I will not. I don't want to judge these comrades and say, you are cowards. You are. They are living in Poland now. In Poland, we have the fascization of the state, fascization of the society, even totalitarianism, because everybody have to be agree with the bourgeois propaganda. So the situation is very, very complicated. Oh, it's my son. Okay, so the second thing which I would like to say, because you asked me a question, if there exists some Marxist forces who are thinking like me, I need to say that yes, there are some Marxist forces, but they are not thinking like me. They are not thinking like me, and I can say that that I am in Poland really in the I am in the big minority because I think that nobody thinking like me. Nobody thinking like me. Most of the people who are considering they like Marxist, for me, their political analysis, it is they are puppets of the imperialism. Because all these political forces which are in Poland, they are one thing in common. They need to be against the Soviet Union. So everybody, you can say, yes, I am the really Marxist, Leninist, and blah blah blah. But he said, but I am agree with Trotsky, or I am agree with Mao, or I am agree with some other guys. All these guys are one thing in common. They are against Soviet Union, and of course they are the different analyses, but all these things are the same. That the things which was is Soviet Union was bad, that it was dictator, it was capitalist state, it was imperialist state, blah blah blah. And in the question, for example, of the Soviet intervention in Afghanistan in 80s, most of the political force which are existing in Poland, and it is not independent force in Poland. It is only some organization linked to the movement which existed in the imperialist countries, because it is not for me it is normal that most of this that the Trotsky's movement is very strong in the imperialist countries like Great Britain or France, for example. The Maoists also they are strong in the imperialist country, because I don't have maybe proof, but I think that there are some collaboration between the CIA or the other forces like this and the radical leftist movement, especially in the time of the using this tactic of the colored revolution. Colored revolution, it is trying to use the leftist analysis and leftist methods, like organize the workers movement, class struggle movement. For example, I don't know the first colored revolution was in Chile against Allende. So the CIA paid for the truck drivers to organize the strike which paralyzed the Chilean economy. And of course, if you are Marxist and you don't know about the situation in Chile, and somebody you say, there are the class struggle in Chile, there are the truck drivers who are make strike. And you say, okay, I am Marxist, always, me like a Marxist, I always support the class struggle, I always support the working class. And because the truck drivers it is working class, I support the strike of the working class against the Allende. But everybody knew now that these organizing strikes in the socialist societies, it's normally the way the tool, the imperialists that the imperialist states are very, very friendly to organize the class struggle in the socialist camp, but they are of course against the class struggle in the imperialist countries. But for the Trotskyists or Maoists, it's not problem because they are isolated from the working class movement in the imperialist countries. So they try to be to say, okay, in our city we don't have contact with working class, but we can say publicly that we support the working class in the Poland, we support the Lech Wałęsa, we support Solidarity, we support the truck drivers in Chile and stuff like this. So there are a lot of leftists in Poland. When you ask them a question, okay, you are leftist, but what is your position toward the biggest political fight which is in Poland? Because the political fight in Poland, it is especially history. It is the question of that we had in Poland the institution, Nazi institution, in my opinion, Instytut Pamięci Narodowej. It is Institute for National Remembrance. It is institution created to rewrite Polish history, and make censorship all the leftist episodes in Polish history. So of course they try to present that all the leftists, all the communists which were in Poland in 19th century, in the time of the October Revolution, in the time of the Second World War, in the time of socialist Poland, always it was the murderers, it was the agent of NKVD, KGB, they were against Poland, blah blah blah. So it is the ideological fight of the Polish bourgeoisie. Polish bourgeoisie tried to from 30 years push this decommunization of the Polish public sphere, and the so-called Marxists or so-called Maoists, so-called Trotskyists, and so-called another leftists, they support this. For example, when the EPN attacked the socialist Poland, in the same time the Maoists or Trotskyists, they support this. Yes, we support the working class movement in Poland, because Poland was a dictatorial bureaucratic state, blah blah blah. So if there are the trade union Solidarność and organize the Polish working people, we support this because it is legitimate for the Polish working people to make a strike. Of course, they know that the Solidarność was financed and helped by the CIA and the Western media and stuff like that, but they don't care. And if in the case of the Trotskyists, it is not only that they don't care, that there are some Trotskyists in Poland in 1980s which are collaborated hand to hand with CIA. It's the Trotskyists which are was this agent of CIA, but it is different discussion. So one more time. The question is how you define what is a Marxism. What is a Marxism in Poland? From my position, the biggest fight for the ideas in Poland is to defend the real existing parties, real existing societies, real existing gains of the working class, and all these things we can find in the socialist Poland until 1989. Of course, I never said that the socialist Poland was the perfect state. There was a lot of bad things, but in the time when the Polish bourgeoisie today, every day, they attack the history of the socialist Poland. They attack the history of the liberation of and creation of socialist Poland, because the socialist Poland was created in the time of the Second World War, when Poland was liberated by the Soviet army and the Polish force, which are fighting hand to hand with the Soviet army. So I defend this history. And this is my heroes, the Soviet soldiers and Polish soldiers who fight in Lenino, who fight in the other places, who are fighting in Berlin. All these guys are my heroes, and I think that the mission of the Marxists in Poland is to protect these people, these forces, against all this anti-communism hysteria which is now. And in this question, one more time, I am feeling isolated. I am feeling isolated because most of these leftist forces, they said, yes, we are truly Marxists, and because we are truly Marxists, we are against revisionism, we are against bureaucracy, and very often they are using very radical phraseology. They say, that I am not truly communist because I am supporting the Soviet Union or socialist Poland in 1970s or 1980s, and everybody know that in 1970s and 1980s the Poland is not truly socialist, that already it is trying to combine the socialism with some market reform. Yes, it's true, there were implemented many market reform in this state, but it's not changed the question that for the working class in Poland, this society was much more better than exists today, especially from the question of the hospital, of the healthcare system or the housing market. In Poland, the workers can take the houses for free. If you are working in Poland, after 2-3 years, the Poland will give you a flat, apartment. And if you have family, if you have babies, you can change your small apartment to something bigger. So it was very easy to have your own apartment in socialist Poland. Today we have all this bank system that you need to take credit, and in last month, because of inflation, the people who take a credit, they have a lot of problems, because these credits they paid 1 year ago it was 1,000 zlotys. Now these credits are 2 times bigger. It is 2,000 zlotys or 2,500 zlotys. It is half of the money which the people living in couple they take every month. So the situation in Poland now is very tragic. And it is because of the capitalism. So if we compare the working class, how they are living in Poland, socialist Poland, and how they are living now, it's very easy to say that the socialism was better. For the working class, the socialism was better. And if some idiots say, but there was some censorship toward the intellectuals. I don't care. I don't care. I am the working class man. I am the working guy, and I support the working class. I don't care the situation of the intelligentsia. I don't care the situation of the Catholic Church. I don't care a lot of. I am, for me, the communist movement is the movement which represents the interest of the working class. For the working class, the socialist Poland was the best society which existed in the history of the Polish nation. So I can continue, of course, this monologue, but I think that it's time to finish. So the situation in Poland is very bad. Is very bad, but it's not exception, and it is not exception, and that the in all the Western countries, the leftist force are very weak. Of course, in Poland, it's much more weaker than in the Western countries. This right-wing propaganda, anti-communist, is very strong. And also we have all this problem with the Polish young generation, which is totally dependent of this, I don't know, individualistic, pro-capitalist propaganda, very often which came to Poland from the United States. So we have young generation totally brainwashed, people brainwashed. So it's bad. But in the second way, there is some economic base which I hope will give a hope for the Polish communists, because we can use the analysis of the Lenin for the when the Lenin asked a question: why will the Russia will be the country of the revolution? He said that the capitalism in his time was a global system, but not global for every world, but it was the Europe, United States, and I don't know, Japan and Russia. And we can, in this time, Africa was not very connected, like this capitalist system was smaller than today. And the Lenin said that the Russia is the weakest chain of capitalism in his time. So because it is the weakest, I forget a word. But this question of the class struggle in Russia is the most important. I think that now in the time of that we have two processes or three processes very important for the future of Poland. First processes, it was industrialization in Poland. In last years, Poland, because the labor force in Poland was the cheapest one in Poland, so there were some new factories which are built in Poland. Because it was the German or French factories which are transported to Poland, and they use the Polish labor force low cost to produce something to the big European Union market. So there are, and second thing, all the time we have this labor, that the Polish people are poor without any savings, and this economic crisis, because I suppose that we are in the edge. The future of the Western Europe capitalism is very tragic. That there will be big crisis. Of course, this crisis, the reason of this crisis is something which was started before the inflation, the growing prices of energy. It was starting already 6 months ago, but but the war in Ukraine, and after all these economic policies of the European Commission to make sanctions towards Russia, sanctions which will destroy the European economy. Maybe not all the European state economies, but I think that it will destroy the especially Polish economy, because the already Poland and Bulgaria don't have the Russian gas. So we have inflation, we have the prices which are growing, and because of this, I think that very quickly we will find the class struggle in Poland, and maybe it will be something which refresh the class consciousness in Poland, but class struggle, it's not a simple way to building the revolutionary communist movement, especially in Poland, when we don't have these organized communist parties. Because the question is, if the people who are agree with me, it's not only to building the communist movement. It's not only the question of the analysis of NATO. There are another things. I think that one of the biggest danger to the working class movement in all Western countries, it is this question of woke. I don't know how to say, but we have a lot of lefties who are not able to speak with the working class people. There are a lot of problem with the young generation of people who are living in Western countries. All these guys who are not known, they are women, they are men, they are non-binary, and the problem is that this is ideology which is totally egoistic, individualistic, and because of that it is very complicated to create in this base the massive workers movement, because if you try to build the working class movement, you have to find something which unite. So there is something we search thing which unite us. And this LGBTQ stuff, it's different logic. They don't search the things which unite the people. They search the things which divide the people. So they divided. You are not binary, and I have different sex, and I have depression, and everybody are talking about himself only and about his own problem, and in this individualistic, egoistic, narcissistic trend. It's complicated, and we see that how the leftist movement in the Western countries, how it is weak now, how it is weak that I don't know it was promoted by the CIA or not, but it is very good tool to destroy the consciousness of the working class in Western countries, and if there will be no strong communist force which will try to organize movement working class in this traditional Bolshevik way, even if in Poland there will be very big class struggle, there will be not. It will be finished by, I don't know, some other forces will gain, I don't know, extra far right, or I don't know, but not communist. Okay, comrades, thank you for your question. It's 50 minutes. I think that it's time to finish this.